As the cosmic tides shift, prepare yourself. Everything you once clung to for stability is on the verge of crumbling. The love you trusted, the emotions you thought were unwavering, the certainty you once had, all of it is being tested. You placed your faith in something that may not have been what it seemed. And now, the veil is beginning to lift. But this isn't just any fleeting moment in time. This isn't another planetary transit that comes and goes without making a dent in your reality. This is something deeper, something far more profound. As Venus moves into Pisces around March 26th, the illusions you've wrapped yourself in will dissolve, leaving only the raw, unfiltered truth behind. And that truth, it may be more startling than you're prepared for. Even though this astrological shift hasn't fully arrived yet, its energy is already stirring beneath the surface. You can feel it. A quiet tension, a sense of unease, a whisper in your gut telling you that change is imminent. Whether or not you believe in astrology, whether or not you place stock in the stars, this energy is weaving its way through your life, reshaping everything you thought you understood. There is no escaping it. Clarity is seeping in, revealing the fractures in the narratives you've built around love, connection, and self-worth. Some will embrace this revelation, welcoming the deep, transformative realizations that come with it. Others will resist, clinging to their illusions, fearing the collapse of a world they so desperately wanted to believe in. But one thing is certain: no one will emerge from this moment unchanged. Something within you is about to undergo a profound transformation, and the people in your life will sense it before you do. You might notice their reactions shifting. Some will be drawn closer, while others will instinctively pull away. It will feel as though your energy has become a beacon, a force that is both magnetic and unnerving. And as you begin to see yourself differently, the way others see you will inevitably shift as well. This is not a passive experience. This is an awakening, one that will demand your attention and force you to question the narratives you've held on to for so long. The relationships that once felt safe may suddenly feel unstable, and those that seemed insignificant may take on an unexpected weight. The universe is orchestrating something intricate, something purposeful, and though the process may feel unsettling, it is necessary. But before you step into this transformation fully, let's address one of the greatest spiritual misconceptions: the idea of the soulmate. You've been led to believe that a soulmate is the one person destined to complete you, a perfect match written in the stars. This belief is deeply ingrained, woven into fairy tales, romanticized in films, and whispered through generations as an unshakable truth. But what if that isn't the reality? What if soulmates are not meant to stay forever, but rather to awaken something within you? What if their purpose is not to complete you, but to challenge you, to unravel the parts of yourself that have remained hidden, to push you toward growth in ways you never anticipated? In the coming weeks, many will experience a profound shift in their relationships. The person you believed was your forever might suddenly feel like a stranger. You'll begin to notice cracks in the foundation, things you ignored, overlooked, or justified in the name of love. At the same time, someone you once dismissed or took for granted may begin to feel significant in a way you never anticipated. The gravitational pull of certain connections will intensify, while others will fade, no matter how much you try to hold on. This Venus retrograde in Pisces is not about finding the one. It is about reclaiming the part of yourself that you lost in the pursuit of love. It is about stepping back into your own power, recognizing your worth, and no longer sacrificing pieces of yourself just to fit into someone else's story. The energy moving through the cosmos right now is not just about truth. It's a mirror, a challenge, a spiritual checkpoint that most won't even realize they're facing. The universe never tests us to break us, but rather to illuminate what still lingers in the depths of our beliefs. And even though Venus has yet to officially enter Pisces, its influence is already rippling beneath the surface, shifting the landscape of love, perception, and longing in ways that are both profound and subtle. This moment isn't just another passing astrological event. It's a lesson written in the language of the soul. The universe is watching, not with judgment, but with quiet curiosity, waiting to see if we have truly integrated the wisdom we claim to have gained. The patterns we thought we had outgrown are whispering their way back into our lives, beckoning us with the familiar comforts of illusion. The pull toward nostalgia is strong, stronger than we may realize. And for many, this is the moment where the real test begins. Will we slip back into the same patterns, mistaking yearning for love? Will we see only what we want to see, idealizing people and situations in a way that distorts reality? Or will we recognize the mirage for what it is and finally break free? Because this is not just about romance. This is about evolution, about how we navigate desire, beauty, and connection, not just with others, but with ourselves. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, often delivers both a dream and a warning in the same breath. Some will chase the dream and become lost in it, mistaking the shimmering promise of what could be for something real. Others will awaken, stepping out of the haze of illusion and into clarity for good. And when that illusion finally dissolves, it leaves behind something far more real, far more profound. Right now, the air is thick with the urge to withdraw, but this retreat is more than just a need for solitude. It's an aching desire to disappear, to slip into the shadows of our own minds, to dissolve into something that feels softer, more forgiving, less demanding. Some will drown in nostalgia, replaying old memories like a worn-out film reel, convinced that if they just watch closely enough, they'll find a way to rewrite the ending. Others will seek solace in distraction, scrolling endlessly, numbing themselves with entertainment, chasing fleeting highs to escape the weight of reality. And for some, the urge to disconnect completely will be dangerously overwhelming. This is the seduction of Pisces energy. It makes everything feel fluid, formless, as if reality itself is slipping through our fingers. It's a delicate balance, one that requires vigilance. If you suddenly feel the need to vanish, to let go of responsibilities, to detach from everything that anchors you, be mindful. Not all forms of escape are healing. Some are simply the mind's way of running from the very truths it needs to face. And yet there is beauty in this moment too. Because on the other side of illusion lies something deeper. A love that isn't built on longing, but on truth. A connection that isn't fragile or fleeting, but rooted in something eternal. The question now is whether we will recognize it when we see it, or if we will let the dream pull us back into its arms, mistaking the fantasy for something real once again. This moment in your life is not merely an ending. It is a transformation, a doorway to something deeper, more authentic, and profoundly aligned with who you are meant to be. The longing you feel, the ache in your chest, the uncertainty that keeps you up at night, these are not signs of failure, but of awakening. Love, as you once understood it, is unraveling before your eyes, but not because the universe is cruel. Rather, it is making space for something more honest, more enduring, and more true to your soul. Escape is not always the enemy. In fact, when harnessed correctly, it can be a catalyst for some of the most profound, creative, and spiritual awakenings of your life. This is the energy of the poet who writes their pain into art, the artist who captures the ineffable in color and form, the dreamer who dares to imagine a life beyond the heartbreak. Inspiration is flooding in from places you cannot see, from the whispers of the past, the echoes of forgotten dreams, the cosmic currents that guide you toward your destiny. If you embrace this shift instead of resisting it, you will not merely survive, you will emerge reborn. There is a delicate balance, however, between escape and avoidance. The temptation to disappear into numbness, to drown the sorrow in distractions, is strong. But true transformation does not come from avoidance. It comes from facing the pain head-on and using it as fuel for something greater. Instead of allowing this moment to swallow you whole, let it lift you higher. Write, paint, dance, meditate. Channel your emotions into something that carries meaning, something that will outlive the transient ache of the present moment. Because in the end, not all heartbreaks are tragedies. Some are necessary disruptions. Gentle or not so gentle nudges from the universe reminding you that love is not meant to imprison you. Some goodbyes are, in truth, liberations in disguise. Right now, love is shifting beneath your feet. The ground that once felt solid is trembling, and you may not yet see where the cracks will lead. If it feels like your heart is breaking, know that it is breaking open. Venus retrograde in Pisces does not destroy love for the sake of destruction. It strips away the illusions that have clouded your vision. It dissolves the false narratives you've built around love, relationships, and soulmates. It forces you to see the truth. Love is not always what you thought it was. And while this realization can feel like loss, it is, in fact, clarity. The relationship that once seemed unshakable now feels uncertain. The person you believed was your forever now feels distant, unfamiliar. Or perhaps nothing tangible has changed, yet deep inside, you sense that something is shifting in ways you cannot yet define. And here's a truth that may be difficult to accept. If something is slipping away now, it is because it was never truly aligned. It was built on illusion, on wishful thinking, on the version of love you wanted rather than the one that was real. Venus in Pisces does not allow such illusions to endure. But do not see this as a cruel punishment. This is sacred destruction, the kind that clears the path for something greater. Some will fight to hold on, convincing themselves that love is worth the struggle, and sometimes it is. But deep down, you already know the difference between fighting for love and clinging to something that is already sinking. If you listen closely, you will hear the quiet truth you have been trying to ignore. This ending is not a loss. It is a course correction. The true danger is not in letting go. It is in holding on to something that was never meant for you. Often it is not the person we miss, but the version of ourselves we were when we were with them. And soon, something unexpected will happen. In the coming days, you may feel a pull toward the past, a sudden rush of nostalgia that makes you wonder if you made a mistake. You might find yourself tempted to reach out, to revisit what was. But before you do, pause, ask yourself, do you truly love them, or do you love the memory of them? Because there is a world of difference between the two. You are not being abandoned, you are being redirected. Let go, trust the unraveling. What is falling away was never meant to last, and what is coming, it is more beautiful than you can yet imagine. Venus in Pisces is like slipping into a dream where time folds in on itself. The boundaries between past and present dissolve, making nostalgia feel as vivid as reality. You find yourself drifting through old emotions, as if they never left, as if they were merely waiting in the shadows for their moment to resurface. A familiar name echoes in your mind, and suddenly, your heart aches with the intensity of a love long gone. Memories that should have faded resurge with startling clarity, smiles, touches, whispered words in the dark. It feels like fate, like a cosmic whisper urging you to look back. But is it destiny calling? Or is it just the heart's way of longing for something it can no longer have? The truth, the one we rarely admit to ourselves, is that sometimes we aren't missing a person. We're missing a version of them that no longer exists. Maybe they've changed. Maybe we have. Maybe the love that once felt like a universe was only meant to last for a fleeting moment in time. Nostalgia has a way of painting the past in golden hues, making us forget the cracks in the foundation, the pain between the good times, the reasons we let go in the first place. It turns people into ghosts, echoes of what once was, but can never be again. And in that longing, we risk losing ourselves. We romanticize the ache, mistaking it for a sign, chasing after what's already gone. For some, this is the beginning of an endless loop, reaching out, rekindling old flames, getting swept up in a love story that was already written to end. The texts, the late-night nostalgia, the sense of déjà vu that feels like fate when it's really just familiarity. But for others, this is where the cycle finally breaks, because not every love story is meant to have a sequel. Some loves exist solely to teach us who we were, to reveal the parts of ourselves that needed to grow, and then to fade away like waves retreating from the shore. So before you surrender to the past, before you let old emotions pull you under, ask yourself, is this love or just a memory clinging to life? Because not everyone who's drowning wants to be saved. Some simply want company in the depths. And here is where Venus in Pisces reveals its most seductive illusion, this deep, aching need to rescue, to heal, to absorb the pain of others as if it were your own. You may feel an instinctive pull towards someone, a lover from the past who is struggling, a friend trapped in a cycle of toxic relationships, even a stranger whose sadness lingers in the air before they've spoken a word. Their suffering becomes your burden, their wounds feel like yours to mend. It's a calling so strong, so intoxicating that it feels like love. But is it really? Or is it just the trap Venus in Pisces so often lays, mistaking self-sacrifice for devotion, believing that saving someone will make them stay? Pisces energy is a force unlike any other, a vast, boundless ocean where emotions dissolve into one another, where the lines between self and other become indistinct. It's an energy of deep empathy, of feeling so intensely that it ceases to be a choice. Compassion is not something you extend, it is something you are. But within this beautiful fluidity lies a danger, a quiet, insidious unraveling that can happen before you even realize it. Because when you love this deeply, when you care without limits, you don't just support, you merge. And when you merge, you risk losing yourself. This is where the lesson begins. Love in its highest form should uplift and inspire, not drain and deplete. But Pisces energy, especially when influenced by Venus, has a way of making love feel all-consuming, like a dream you don't want to wake up from. It convinces you that devotion is synonymous with sacrifice, that to truly love someone means to give all of yourself. But this is the trap. Not all love is healing. Not all bonds are sacred. Sometimes what feels like destiny is really just a deeply ingrained pattern, one that keeps repeating itself until you finally see it for what it is. One of the hardest truths about this kind of energy is that it often attracts those who are lost, those who are searching for someone to anchor them. And for a Pisces-ruled heart, this can feel like a calling. You may find yourself believing that you were meant to help, that your love can about pull someone from their darkness. But here's the reality. Not everyone wants to be saved. Some people crave connection, not for the sake of healing, but simply so they don't have to be alone in their suffering. And when you mistake that kind of attachment for love, you lose sight of yourself in the process. Love should never demand that you disappear to keep someone else afloat. The lesson here is not about becoming colder, about shutting yourself off from the deep well of feeling that makes you who you are. The lesson is about discernment, about knowing the difference between love and obligation, between connection and codependency. There's a profound strength in learning to love without losing yourself, in understanding that true love does not require self-sacrifice. The ones who are meant for you will never ask you to bleed for them. They will never see your empathy as something to consume. And if you resist this lesson, if you continue to blur the lines, Venus in Pisces will teach it to you in a way that you cannot ignore. This transit does not allow illusions to last forever. It dissolves the fantasies, the justifications, the stories we tell ourselves about love and fate. It forces you to look at your patterns, to ask yourself, is this love, or is this a cycle? Am I truly giving, or am I just losing myself again? As Venus, the planet of attraction and desire, moves through the dreamy, ethereal waters of Pisces, something profound begins to shift. Not just in your relationships, but in the very way energy moves in and out of your life. This isn't just about romance or companionship. It's about the fundamental ways you connect with the world, how you attract and repel, how your very essence vibrates on a different frequency without you even realizing it. Pisces, while ruled by Neptune, is the sign of illusion, intuition, and spiritual depth. And when Venus takes residence here, your energy takes on a magnetic quality, one that can be felt before it is ever seen or spoken. You might find that people are inexplicably drawn to you, as if they've known you in another lifetime, as if something in your presence awakens, a dormant memory buried deep within them. There will be those who seek you out, yearning for a connection they cannot quite explain, sensing something in you that speaks to the unspoken parts of their own soul. But there will also be those who recoil, not out of malice, but because your energy forces them to confront something they aren't ready to face. You become a mirror, reflecting back to them the truths they've avoided, the shadows they've suppressed. Without meaning to, your very existence challenges them, and you may find yourself wondering why people react so intensely to your presence, why some linger in your orbit while others vanish without a trace. The truth is, energy doesn't lie. Long before words are spoken, before glances are exchanged, before actions are taken, your energy has already spoken for you. It drifts through the spaces you inhabit, weaving itself into the silence between conversations, carrying with it a resonance that is impossible to ignore. And right now, your energy is loud. Even if you don't fully understand it, even if you can't quite put it into words, you are radiating something undeniable, something that disrupts, something that heals, something that refuses to be overlooked. But this transformation isn't arbitrary. It's happening because you are changing. You are being called to shed the illusions that have kept you tethered to outdated versions of yourself, to release the relationships, beliefs, and narratives that no longer serve you. This is a moment of awakening, of peeling back the layers to see yourself clearly, perhaps for the first time in a long time. And with that clarity comes power, the power to choose, to redefine, to step into a love that nurtures rather than drains, that empowers rather than diminishes. This is why it is so crucial to be intentional with where your energy flows, to be discerning about the spaces and people you allow to shape your heart. Not everyone is ready for your depth, and not everyone deserves access to it. Some will try to pull you into their storms, to entangle you in energies that are not yours to carry. But love, real love that is expansive and boundless, does not require you to shrink, to lose yourself, to become something smaller in order to be held. So move with awareness. Let your intuition guide you. Pay attention to the way your energy shifts in different spaces, how your spirit responds to the people around you. And most importantly, remember this: love, in its truest form, will never ask you to abandon yourself. It will never demand that you dull your light to make others comfortable. The love that is meant for you will meet you where you are, in all your fullness, in all your truth. Pisces has an almost mystical way of making you unknowingly enchanting. It enhances your essence, magnifying the subtleties of your being in ways that draw others to you, like moths to a flame. There is something undeniably magnetic about your presence, something intangible, yet deeply felt. People may find themselves inexplicably drawn to you, captivated by your depth, your empathy, and the way you seem to understand things that often go unsaid. This allure isn't just about physical beauty or charm. It's a soul-level pull, a quiet gravity that tugs at the hearts of those around you. But with this kind of magnetism comes a weighty responsibility. For your energy does not just shine, it absorbs. Pisces is like a vast ocean, limitless and profound, capable of holding entire worlds within its depths. But the ocean does not discriminate in what it takes in. It welcomes both beauty and burden, serenity and storms. Your energy works the same way. It acts like a sponge, soaking up the emotions, desires, and even the chaos of others. You might not even realize how much you've been carrying until you feel completely drained, burdened with feelings that aren't truly yours. The expectations of others, their pain, their projections, they seep into your aura, molding your emotional landscape in ways you never consciously agreed to. This is why self-awareness and energetic boundaries are not just important for you. They are necessary. Without them, you risk losing your own essence beneath the weight of everything external. Protecting your energy is an act of self-love. It means being discerning about the people you allow into your space, the situations you choose to engage in, and the emotions you decide to hold on to. Not everyone deserves unrestricted access to your soul. Not everyone should be allowed to shape the way you feel or dictate the rhythm of your emotions. Your energy is sacred, and if you do not protect it, you will find yourself drowning in feelings that do not even belong to you. Grounding practices, whether through meditation, creative expression, time spent in nature, or simple solitude, become vital for you. They allow you to return to yourself, to cleanse the emotional residue that is not yours to keep, and to realign with your true essence. This period, particularly under the influence of Venus in Pisces, acts as a cosmic mirror, reflecting everything you need to see about yourself and your relationships. It peels back the layers of illusion you've woven around love, dissolving the fantasies and romanticized pain you may have clung to for too long. It forces you into deep introspection, compelling you to face the one person you may have been avoiding, yourself. You have spent so much time searching for love, yearning for connection, believing that fulfillment lies in another's embrace. But the love you've been seeking has never been external. It has always existed within you, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be nurtured. Recognizing this truth is not easy. It is far simpler to direct that longing outward, to believe that love is something to be found, rather than something to be uncovered within. But this realization, however difficult, is also liberating. It shifts the narrative, placing the power back in your hands. You are not meant to chase love. You are meant to embody it. You are not meant to carry the emotional weight of others at the expense of yourself. You are meant to honor your own energy, to protect your own peace. As Venus moves through Pisces, let it guide you back to yourself. Let it teach you that love, true and boundless, is not something you must earn. It is something you are. The longing we often mistake for destiny is nothing more than the echo of our own unresolved wounds. A whisper from the deepest parts of ourselves, urging us to look inward rather than outward. So many of us move through life, believing that the ache in our hearts signifies the absence of something external, that love, purpose, or meaning is missing. We chase after people, experiences, and dreams, convinced that fulfillment lies just beyond our reach, waiting for us in another person's embrace or in a future we have yet to attain. But the truth is, that ache is not a sign that something outside of us is missing. It is an invitation to return home to ourselves. It is a gentle, yet insistent call to turn inward, to tend to the neglected corners of our soul, to heal the parts of us that have been left in the dark for too long. Love is not about searching for someone to complete us, for we were never incomplete to begin with. It is about realizing that the love we so desperately seek has been within us all along, buried beneath layers of conditioning, fear, and false narratives. We are not broken, we are merely unpracticed in the art of self-recognition. And when we stop searching for wholeness in another person, when we release the belief that love must be chased, we create space for something real. Love that is not built upon longing or scarcity, not rooted in fear or desperation, but one that emerges from truth, from the deep, unwavering knowing that we are already enough. This is where the transformation begins. At this crossroads, we are given a choice. We can continue to cling to old illusions, repeating the same patterns, hoping that one day they will lead us somewhere different. Or we can step fully into ourselves, into the truth of who we are, and break free from the cycle of seeking love outside of us. And when we choose truth, when we choose ourselves, we shift our energy in a way that alters everything. We begin to attract love that mirrors our own self-respect. Love that meets us where we are rather than requiring us to shrink or bend to fit. The universe responds not to our wishes, but to our energy, to the frequency we emit when we stand fully in our own power. If we embody the love we seek, if we cultivate the deep self-awareness and self-compassion we crave from others, we will come to see that love was never absent. It was waiting for us to notice, waiting for us to stop running, waiting for us to turn inward and remember who we have been all along. And in that moment, love ceases to be something we chase. It becomes something we are. Thank you for allowing these words into your heart. If this message spoke to you, I invite you to stay connected, to continue exploring this journey of self-discovery and growth. Your presence is valued, and your reflections are welcome. May you walk forward knowing that love is not something you must seek. It is something you already are. Until next time, trust in your journey and take care of your soul.